Magnatele sucatelo stu limone, ilu sace catete piace.
This section is going to be relatively short. It deals with temperature. The only reason I'm bringing it up here is because we're going to use temperature a fair amount in the upcoming sections. This slide is a little bit weird. What I'm trying to emphasize here is I want you to know the temperature that water freezes and melts at. And in particular, I want you to know what temperature water freezes and melts at in degrees Celsius. It turns out that for most materials, the temperature that something freezes at is also the temperature that it melts at. For water, the temperature that water freezes at, in other words, liquid water going to solid water, is 0 degrees Celsius. And what that means is if you have ice and you want to melt it, it will melt at about 0 degrees Celsius as well. I want you to know this number. If you want, if you're extra nerdy, you can memorize the fact that water freezes and melts at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and the same temperature in units of Kelvin is 273.15. So there you have it, but this is the only one I want you to know. Same thing for vaporizing water, in other words, turning it to steam or condensing it from steam back into liquid water. That happens at 100 degrees Celsius. So again, for most materials that I can think of, the temperature that they vaporize or boil away at is the same as the temperature that they condense at. So, and for water, it happens to be 100 degrees Celsius. You can memorize the same temperature in different units, 212 in units of Fahrenheit or 373.15 in Kelvin units, but you don't have to. Only the Celsius ones are the ones that I want you to know. Okay, I know I'm not big on memorization, but unfortunately I do want you to know that one. There are formulas for converting between Celsius and Fahrenheit, or Fahrenheit to Celsius. I don't care that you memorize these formulas. In fact, I would recommend that you don't memorize them. I will give them to you on a quiz or a test, and I would expect you to be able to use them, but don't waste your time committing them to memory. So this formula that I'm circling here is if I give you degrees Celsius, you can convert to Fahrenheit, or you can go in the opposite direction. If I give you degrees Fahrenheit, you can go into Celsius. The formula for converting Celsius to Kelvin is this third equation down here. It's the easiest of the bunch. If you have a temperature in Celsius and you want to convert to Kelvin, what you do is you take your Celsius temperature and you add 273. Actually, I think you add 273.15 for the power nerds out there, but 273 is almost always good enough. Some examples of questions that you might get. What's 40 degrees Celsius in units of Kelvin? So we're going to have to use this bottom equation here. Let's keep the 0.15 because I'm extra nerdy. This decimal point here was to try to make sure that this has two significant figures or two significant digits. I'm not really going to care about that, so don't worry so much about that. But if I wanted to convert 40 degrees Celsius into Kelvin, basically I'm going to say Kelvin equals 40 degrees Celsius plus 273.15, and whatever that happens to be. I think that's 300. Oops, don't show that. 313.15 Kelvin. So that's the temperature in Kelvin. I could also ask, another question. I can ask a question for you to use any of these three equations. What's 40 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? You can pause the video if you want and work it out. You can pause now. Okay, I'm pausing. And which equation does this one need? Well, it needs the first one. So if we want to know degrees Fahrenheit, it's going to equal 1.8 times 40 plus 32, whatever that happens to be. Let's do it the hard way, like they taught you in elementary school. 4 times 8 is 32, 4, 72, 1.8 times 40 is equal to 72, plus 32 is equal to 104. So 40 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit is 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So there you have it. I believe that is the end of the temperature discussion. So, short video.